Good evening. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. Some minutes past six. First of all, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that has been following us. I don't take this for granted. I appreciate all our subscribers wherever you're watching us across the world. Let me know where you're viewing this video from. Let's have an interactive of the best, the biggest educative show today, and we're going to be talking about property due diligence. We'll be talking extensively on the three important due diligence that must be conducted if you are buying properties in Lagos. So let me know where you're watching us from. Do well to let me know where you are watching us from. Of course, if you are seeing this video, endeavor to like. Abraham, go to the bring that second Android phone in that watching us from. First of all, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that has been following us. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your gesture. I appreciate your patience. I don't take this for granted. Thank you very much. In case you are coming across this live video for the first time, do well to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and let us learn together. First of all, I want to quickly extend my appreciation to everybody that have subscribed to our channel. I really don't take this for granted. Thank you very, very, very much. And then for those who will still subscribe, please do not hesitate to do that. I appreciate you as well. So today we're going to be talking about the types of due diligence that must be done if you're buying properties in Lagos. I know I have a video similar to this in some of my subsequent videos. I really understand that, but at this time now, there've been a lot of recent discovery. Thanks to our legal team and everybody that has been working with us, we would not have been able to achieve this without their support. Thank you very much. So we have updated information, and we'll be sharing, some exciting things. So if you're on this live, do well to subscribe, double tap your screen, like this video, share it, okay, so that people can, get to see it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and today is Tuesday, so our next live session by God's grace will be on a Thursday. So let's talk about due diligence. Let's talk about what real estate investors need to do if they're buying properties in Lagos. And then one of the reasons why I'm going to be talking about this basically was due to the fact that they've been a lot of I would say a lot of developments in the Lagos property. Who have been following us, you will attest to the fact that there's been a lot of activities happening in our real estate sector. So this is something that is very, very crucial, very, very critical, and you do obviously don't want to miss out on this. So in case you are coming across this for the first time, do well to subscribe, and of course you can also share this video with your friends. So let's talk about due diligence. The first thing is, why do you have to conduct a due diligence? Presently, there've been a lot of circumstances that has been happening in Lagos, and not just in Lagos but in other parts of the country. So let's quickly unravel some of these things, and I think our focus should be, how can we protect real estate investors from making costly real estate investment mistake, and let us look at some of the important safety parameters that must be put into consideration, because these things are very, very critical. So let's quickly talk about that. There was a development that happened in Epe few weeks ago, and I will not say it's something that is worth commendable, but there've been a lot of activities, and this obviously is not that if you are investing in Lagos, there are some important parameters that must be put into consideration. And I have also said in some of my subsequent videos that investment has gone beyond the beautiful drone shots. It has gone beyond those mind-blowing oratory. It has gotten to a point whereby you have to carefully examine some important parameters, and failure to pay attention to these things such can prove to be very, very costly. So today we are going to be talking about due diligence, and I'm not going to leave any stone unturned. We are going to look at the important parameters, and of course, pay attention to some of those things that are very critical. So, in case you are joining us for the first time, thank you, welcome aboard, and then let's just go to the topic without wasting further time. Now, if you're talking about due diligence basically talks about how you can safeguard your present investment and, of course, your next real estate investment. And why do you have to emphasize on due diligence? Due diligence is very essential because some part of Lagos, some part of the country are developing, and this is due to the fact that government infrastructures is taking up or is taking shape in different parameters. Now, what do I mean in different parameter is that not everywhere you see, okay, is as developed as being advertised. Okay, there've been instances whereby people are sharing some important information, and some of these things are definitely not relevant, okay, to what is happening. And there've been a lot of demolitions, not just in Nigeria, but also in part of the FCT. And this is one of the reasons why due diligence is very important. Presently, right now, a lot of real estate developers in the Ekpe axis right now are presently counting their losses. And this basically is one thing, okay, that we need to pay attention to. Now, in as much as fact that people don't like to openly, admit what is going on, but it is very critical, very important for investors to be aware with some of these things that are happening, so that they will be, in a better position, okay, to make investment decision, regardless of the fact whether it is favorable or not. It is very important that you are well abreast with the current situation, so that when you're making an investment decision, you'll be making something that will be profitable, not just to you, but also to every other person. And more importantly, you'll be able to safeguard your investment. So what are the first type of due diligence? The first type of due diligence that you have to do is what we call the documentation due diligence. Now, in the area of documentation, or in the area of document due diligence, it is very important that we highlight some of the things that I have seen that has happened. First of all, let me start by saying that as far as the Lagos State real estate industry is concerned, I have I've been in the industry since 2018. I became active in real estate in 2019, and because of that, I've seen instances whereby a lot of things have been happening, things that people did not expect. And due to the fact that some of these things are still happening, it's just quite unfortunate that people are still making some of these costly real estate investments. And when it comes to documentation, there are three things every real estate investors need to pay attention to. Abraham, there are three important things take this to the room, go and plug it. Okay, so there are three important things that every real estate investors need to pay attention to in the area of due diligence. Now, when you are looking at documentation on the property, the first aspect of due diligence that you need to do that is concerning documentation is what we call the title search. Now, it is very important that if you're buying real estate, doing a title search is very critical, it's very essential. In fact, it's the core of it, because you see, what determines the safety of that land, what determines the safety of that building or whatsoever project you are investing in, is the root title. And in one of my videos, I've explained extensively that there are different types of land titles. Okay, I talked about the accession, I talked about gazette, I talked about C of O, I talked about government allocation, I also talked extensively on certificate of occupancy, and I talked about governor's consent, and different things. And if you have been following us on this channel, you will realize basically that we've always been talking extensively, okay, on some of these important things. And the purpose of this is to ensure that you don't lose, your investments in circumstances or situations of things, that can be avoided. And this is why due diligence is very, very important if you are buying real estate. Now, what do you need to do as regards the title, or how should you conduct the title search? The first thing you want to confirm basically is the authenticity of the title. When you talk about the authenticity of the title, let's say, for instance, a property has a C of O. The first thing you want to confirm is that if the C of O is genuine, okay, and you want to also confirm if that C of O has not been revoked, because in some part of Ibejuleki, we've come to discover that some real estate development companies are selling properties with revoked titles. So you want to confirm the authenticity, okay, of the C of O. You want to confirm if the C of O has not expired. Then the next search you also want to confirm is that you want to confirm, okay, the number of acres that the C of O is covering. Now, it is generally believed that when they tell you that a property has a C of O, many real estate investors assume that the C of O is covering the entire acres of land. But we've come to discover, okay, to find out that that is untrue. I've seen instances whereby a lot of people have bought property in anticipation that they bought the C of O, and when they were allocated outside the C of O. So you want to also confirm if the C of O is covering the entire acres, or the C of O is covering the land or the portion of the land which you are given. The next thing you also want to confirm is the type of the C of O that is covering that same property. Now, when we talk about C of O, many people don't know that as far as the Lagos State land law is concerned, we have agric C of O, we have residential C of O, and we have commercial C of O, and we also have individual C of O. A lot of people don't know that there are different types of C of O. Now, the type of C of O, okay, that is on the property you are buying, okay, will determine what you can use the land for. For instance, if it's an agric C of O, you cannot do anything residential on a C of O that is agric. Neither can you do anything agric on a C of O that is residential. And these are some of, so you want to confirm the types of C of O. So you see, title check is very, very important, and I would say it is the core, okay, of every real estate investor, and it is generally, advised, okay, that you pay attention to some of these things as you are doing your due diligence. This due diligence must be done before you pay for that property. So that is for the title search, okay. Now, a lot of people have asked me questions. Can I do this? I am not a lawyer, I am not a surveyor, but we have lawyers and surveyors that do it only for people that are investing through us, okay. There have been instances whereby we've assisted a lot of people to get their to do their due diligence, and of course give a detailed feedback on some of those things. So after you have done the agric C of O, then the next thing you also, of course, head to C of O. After you've done the title search, the next search you also want to do is to confirm if you are buying from the authentic owners. Yes, buying from the authentic owner, I've seen instances whereby a lot of people parade titles that does not belong to them, and it's due to the fact that there've been a lot of misconception and ignorance, and these things are proven to be costly. For instance, I've been on a site, okay, where the real estate developer believed, okay, that he bought from the right sources, okay, and it was quite unfortunate that the people they bought from presented all the documents only for us to find out that the person or the family that the real estate developer bought that property from was a faction of a family, and that sale, okay, or that purchase did not carry other or inform other members of the family. So you want to check the ancestry, which is very, very important. Now, the next due diligence that you must do if you are investing in Lagos is what we call the security of the background check. Now, the security of the background check is one of the most important things that is very crucial. A lot of people have bought properties in different places in Lagos only for them to find out that there are security situations in that neighborhood. And I think I've said it in some of my videos, in some of my subsequent videos, of a place where I went to for Salah, and before we left there, my car was vandalized. So when we talk about the issue of security, it's also a due diligence that must be done, okay? Because you see, if you own a property in a place that has security challenges, or in a place that is regarded to as a danger zone, it is difficult for you to use the property for the purpose of purchase. Now, the background check or the security check is very crucial, because the security check will open you to the security challenges if there have been cases of kidnap. Most of us are fully aware to this fact that Nigeria is presently experiencing security situations. There have been issues of kidnap, there have been issues of robberies, there have been issues of different crimes, and that is why doing this background check is very, very important. Because you see, the background check will open you to the reality of what is going on in that axis, what you need to do as a real estate investor to ensure that such circumstances and situation does not happen to you. You obviously want to pay attention to that as you embark on your property investment journey. Then the next search you also want to do is what we call the land grabbing due diligence. You need to find out if the place you want to buy your property does not have repeated or long history of land grabbing activities. Now, a lot of people have played down on the importance of doing a check to find out if there are a lot of places today, okay, that is being noted for different land grabbing activities, and these things are proven to be costly. And this is why it is very critical as a real estate investor to pay attention to some of these things, so that you will not be making subsequent and repeated errors as you invest in Lagos. So you want to find out if the place is not prone by land grabbers, if there are not cases of people being attacked when they are working. And sometimes, as part of the security checks, when you are building, you also want to confirm that if you have dropped your building material before the dawn of the next day, your materials are not being stolen. The next due diligence you also want to do is what we call the legal due diligence. You want to find out, if the property you want to buy is not subjected to a pending litigations. A lot of people are buying properties without understanding that there have been cases of litigation. There might be an ongoing litigations on the property, and this obviously is very, very unfortunate, because a lot of people have bought places that they ought to avoid. So when we talk about litigations basically are talking about court injunctions if they've not been ordered from court. For there's a lot of places in the Shangotedo axis that has a lot of litigations, and some places of Ibejuleki too. So you don't get to know this except you hire a professional who can do what we call a thorough and an intense due diligence in order to unravel some of these circumstances. So you want to pay attention to that as you invest in a property. So these are the basic due diligence you want to do. So the first one is the title search. The second one is the background check, which is the security check. The third one is the land grabbing check to find out if the place is not open to land grabbing disputes. And the third one is what we call the litigation check. You obviously don't want to own a property that have a court case, whether a court injunction. And the reason why I'm saying this basically, or why I'm emphasizing on this point, is due to the fact that if you are investing in Lagos and you have paid, the process of getting a refund for the money paid is not always easy. And that is why sometimes I've emphasized I've emphasized several times that it is very important that you pay attention to some of these things as you are investing in the Lagos State real estate market. So you want to pay attention to this point. And so at this juncture, I'm going to take a brief pause, and then I know I have a lot of questions here. We're supposed to be here in our previous live session, which was omitted. I strongly apologize, and I also want to apologize for starting way late. I know this is almost 7 o'clock. We're supposed to have these hours before now. I apologize. So these are the subsequent due diligence that must be done if you are investing in Lagos. So I'll be going straight to the questions that our real estate investors, our live viewers. So please, in case you're joining this live, please, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, you know, one of the ways you can encourage us is to subscribe. I don't want to say thank you to everybody who is subscribing, and I also want to say bigger thanks to another person that will subscribe immediately after this. So these are apparently the most important due diligence that must be done when you are buying properties in Lagos. So there's a question now. So this particular question says, what is the difference between as time goes on? Okay, now what is the difference between approved and gazetted? Now, excision is a situation, okay, whereby government give some parcels of land to a community. So let's start by settling that, because there's been a lot of misconception and people may not understand this. Now, when that excision, okay, has been published in a document, and the document is called Gazette, like for instance, they can say 20 acres of land has been excised to, okay, there's this popular excision that we have verified in the Bejuleki, which is the Obayomi village excision. So let's use that Obayomi village excision as a case study. Parcel of 20 acres was of excision has been given to the Obayomi community, and it is published in a gazette, in a document of Gazette number 6 volume 8 2004. It is an assumption, I'm not saying that, okay? So once it has been published, it becomes a gazetted excision. So there's really not much difference between a gazetted excision and approved excision. Do you understand? So it is when it's published and it is noted in a gazette, and you can trace the dates of which the excision was granted, it becomes a gazette. So we really need to explain that so that real estate investors can understand this, and so that there won't be misconception about that. That is about excision. Let me quickly use this opportunity to explain land documents very quickly. So that is excision, that is gazette. Now, when we talk about C of O, it is very important that there's been a general misconception that a C of O is a C of O. No, there are different kinds of C of O. We have an agric C of O. An agric C of O is a C of O that was granted by government, by the Ministry of Agric, and it can only be used for that purpose only. Now, we have witnessed, I personally have witnessed different scenarios or different circumstances whereby after that agric C of O has existed for a very long time, like for instance, there have been instances whereby a C of O might have an agric C of O might have lasted for maybe 10-20 years. Now, the owner or the community in which that C of O has been given can now reapply, okay, to government, saying that they wish, okay, to change the status of that agric C of O to a residential C of O. Now, under the Land Use Act, okay, if that C of O has existed for a time, there are tendencies, okay, that government may reconsider. More importantly, if they are residents in that region, okay, they can now apply to government requesting that status of that property be changed from an agric C of O to residential C of O. That has been some cases in Badore, Ajah, the popular Badore. That has been the cases of some places in Songotedo, some places in Awoyaya, and it has been successfully done. So that is an agric C of O, because they've been Some people will just buy property, okay, simply because it supposedly has C of O. They assume that it's a residential C of O. No, you need to confirm, because I've seen agri C of Os, and it's quite unfortunate that people don't get to unravel this. They just jump at it because they see C of O. So, and this is where the service of a professional, a lawyer, and of course your surveyor will be, and I've said it before that is why we have such people in our team. These guys help us unravel these things and safeguard your investment so that there will not be issues like this in the future. So that is for the agri C of O. We also have residential C of O, which most of these real estate development companies have. I've seen. So we have we also have commercial C of O, individual C of O, blah blah blah, and of course government allocated C of O. Okay, and of course, which is mostly what we have in some of the estate selling along the Lekki Ekpe expressway. So what I'll be doing basically is that I'm going to be having a series, definitely not now, but maybe in our subsequent videos, where we'll talk extensively more on this. So that is that. I hope that has answered your question. So the next question I have here is that what title can I process on a land that has excision? Okay, this varies. Before, okay, if you have an excision, and the first thing I think you want to do, okay, my last video I was talking about one of the important reasons why you have to register your title, and I said in that video that in some cases government recognizes people whose names are on the title as the actual owner, but you can go through some process of change whereby you can register the title, inform government that the said person has sold this property to be. Okay, now if you have an excision, I honestly don't know if the process have changed, but what is being done is that if you have an excision or you bought the land with excision, what is required is for you to process what we call a government allocation. You apply for a government allocation, and once the government allocation has been granted, then it's only a matter of time when you pay government that you can get your C of O. That is the way it was last year, this year. So if there have been changes to that process, I will also come online just like I'm doing now to explain to notify our viewers. Now if it's a gazetted excision, because I explained extensively what is the difference between the approved excision and gazetted excision. What you need to process if it's a gazetted excision is you just apply for a governor's consent straight. And what is a governor's consent? A governor's consent is a situation whereby you get the governor to sign on your deed. So once the governor sign on your deed, it automatically becomes a what? A governor's consent. So that is one of the things every real estate investor needs to understand. Then of course C of O and other titles are very relevant. So I hope that has answered the question. Now, okay, this question says, what do you do if Omonile attacks or is disturbing your property? Oh, this question is a little bit risky. Okay, where do I start from? Now, when you're buying properties in the first place, let us be honest with ourselves and let us say things the way they are. When it comes to the issue of land grabbing, Omonile invasion, it's a general problem that both real estate developers and real estate investors face in the southwest. In fact, also in the part of the south and other parts of Nigeria. Shockingly, I found out that land grabbing is even an office. That obviously is a topic for another day. Now, when you have cases of land grabbers attacking, or the cases of land Omonile disturbing your property, the first thing you want to do basically is that you want to find out if these guys are not deadly. When I say deadly, if you have faced land disputes in Lagos, I don't expect people who have not seen this. I've been in a situation whereby I was in uh, a face-to-face situation with death. We miraculously survived it. This happened far back many years ago, where we were to conduct an allocation. We did not know that the real estate developer has not done the needful. We were attacked, and that was the first time in my life that I saw Omonile with live ammunition, guns. Some had machetes, some had different kind of weapons, and it was a surprise, okay, that such things still happen in our society. But obviously, that's the situation of the way things are being done here. So if you have issues with Omonile, the first thing you want to do basically is that you want to find out what their demands are. You want to find out what their demands are. Number two, you want to find out the kind of people you are dealing with, because there are some instances whereby Omonile have attacked in some of our sites, and we've sat down with some of their leaders. They express their grievances, okay. We had a conversation with them, and after a long time of dilly-dally conversation, we found out that they were cheated. But thank God we had a well-drafted contract of sale and a deed that was signed by their leaders. That was how we were able to solve the situation. And there are instances whereby if Omonile is involved, you need to involve the law enforcement agencies. Now, the reason why I'm explaining these situations is due to the fact that it is very important, okay, that you apply the needed approach. There's a place where peaceful resolution can work, and there's a place whereby involving the law enforcement agents is the best bet. So you really want to assess that situation. Now, if you are bought from a real estate developer, there are some of them who will tell you that before you go for sightseeing or before you go and check the property they've sold to you, you should inform them. Now, the reason why some of them have said this several times is due to the fact that some places where these properties are located, they are mostly isolated places, and there have been the cases of kidnap and other insecurity that exists. So that could be a reason why the developer would say, before you go there, please notify us. If there is a need for somebody to accompany you from the office, please, we'll let you know. And if it's a situation whereby you can go by yourself, we also let you know. So sometimes I usually, for some of us who have bought Odiomi, who have bought some places of Igbonla in Epe, there've been cases of security issues there. So you definitely want to consult your developer before you go there. Now, but in a situation whereby you have not gotten a pleasant response as regards when you can go, there are tendencies that Omonile disputes and skirmishes may be involved. Now, in that kind of situation, this is what you should do. The first thing you want to do basically is that you want to have a conversation with your developer, though some of them will not publicly or outrightly agree to the fact that they are being disturbed by Omonile, but with some time we've been able to find out if the cases are so. So sometimes when we approach them, we don't approach them with guesses, we approach them with evidences and facts that we have at our disposal. Now, there are instances whereby within 6 months, Omonile issues can be resolved, and there are instances whereby it can take a year or 2. Now, in a situation whereby a real estate developer is offering you a better alternative, I'll advise that you accept that alternative so that you can protect yourself and protect your investment. Now, if there are instances whereby the real estate developer is giving you an assurance that it will be resolved, if you don't have the patience, okay, to wait for, either peaceful or violent resolution, you definitely can request for a plot reallocation. The only thing is just that you will have to iron out who is going to do the survey or the documentation, which obviously is something that can be struck out between you and the developer. So these are some of the proven, best approaches to situations that is concerning Omonile. These things are very important. There are instances whereby you can use a peaceful resolution, and in situations where peace has failed, you can get the law enforcement agents involved. So that is the ways we've been able to, resolve circumstances that has to do with. Why do I have questions regarding Omonile? So definitely I am going to set up a ministry where I will be discussing Omonile. Good evening, Ma. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Good evening, Ma. Okay. So I have a lot of questions concerning Omonile. Okay, so this question says, my property along the Ekpe Itokin was attacked by Omonile. My workers were beaten and some of my building materials were taken. What do you suggest I do? Okay, what you should have indicated in this question is, did you buy from a real estate developer or you bought from, because I've seen instances of investors buying from Omonile. In fact, there was a scenario of someone that paid a particular chieftaincy, alleged chieftaincy title holder in that region, and along the line something shall happened, and till today we are still looking for the chieftaincy owner. So you need to indicate, okay, if you've bought from whether I bought from a real estate developer, because there are different solutions. If you have bought from a developer, there are some things you can do. Then if you have bought from the Omonile, there are other things you can do. So please, you need to indicate if you have bought from developer or you have bought from that. Okay, this question says, I bought a property in Akodo area of Ibejuleki, and Omonile is asking me to pay more. What will you advise I do? Okay, I like this question. Very direct, very straightforward. Okay, another question says, okay, so I'm receiving questions. If you see me bend my head, some questions are coming through my WhatsApp, and I have to quickly respond to this. Okay, all right. Someone says, can you help me? It seems you know. All right, of course, this is not something that is worth laughing. Thank you. In case you are joining us, welcome on board. Thank you very much. We're talking about the types of due diligence that must be done before you buy properties in Lagos, and somehow we found ourselves discussing on Omonile and land disputes. Okay, so I have a video where I talked about this, but because of the fact that we have a lot of videos, over 300 plus videos, so we felt it is wise for us to review some of the things we've talked about. Okay, when it comes to Omonile, because of my busy schedule, I can't promise intervention. Okay, though I'm familiar with some ballet in Ekpe, some ballet in Ibejuleki. I'm more or less like an indigene in this community, not just because of the fact that I know, but I have coexisted with this person. Abraham, I've coexisted with some of these people. I know them very well, so I'm not. It's not a guarantee. Someone's at the door. It's not a guarantee that I'm promising anything. But for the Akodo, now, what you should do is that so what I can guarantee basically is that you should pay attention to this. When it comes to land disputes in Ibejuleki, this is what you should do. The first thing you want to do basically is that you want to verify if you have bought land. See, I've seen a situation whereby when Omonile wants to sell land to you, that's why sometimes I usually emphasize that a lot of people have approached me, a lot of real estate investors have approached me, and they've said what real estate developers are charging is too much. Omonile they've offered something bigger, something better, and I found their offer to be irresistible. Well, I would not say you should buy. I would not say you should not buy. But for some of us that we've had to make several arrests after paying families, for some of us that we had to do a lot of forceful enforcement, I can categorically tell you that what you will spend for you not to be duped, what you will spend for you not to be cheated, sometimes if you calculate the total cost, what the developer is charging is smaller compared to what you will pay when there is crisis. Now, when we talk about crisis now, that crisis is now still dependent on, number one, the community you are dealing with, the gravity of the land grabbing situation, and of course, what is. Now, let me quickly explain something to all my viewers. The first thing you want to understand, I need you to understand, is that if you have bought land from Omonile, you just can't start working on the land simply because when you're buying, you need to understand that people will give you assurances that don't worry, tell them it's Baba Fatai that sold to you. Nobody will dare do anything to you. Nobody will dare do ba. You can start work. I've seen instances whereby after Baba Fatai has collected money, you will not see him there. And I've seen instances whereby even the same Baba Fatai, I'm not saying no Baba Fatai, I'm just using that as a case study, that there are some instances that will happen and you find out that Baba Fatai is not even the rightful owner of such property, and he doesn't have the legal right to sell. Now, these are some of the unpleasant circumstances and scenarios that we have witnessed. So sometimes buying land from Omonile, depending on the community, the safety of that investment is dependent on the following. Number one is dealing with the right family. Number two is doing your fact check to find out if the land has not been sold. In fact, the process of trying to even check and ascertain, because I've seen instances whereby one portion of land must have been sold to like 5 or 10 people. That one has been a clear case for some of us who have bought land in the Shirin axis of Ibejuleki. For those who have bought in the let's say the Igbogun, the Lakampari of Canada, there have been cases of selling one piece of property to several. So you want to confirm. Now, if you have bought land from Omonile, let's now assume that it was a successful purchase. There are the following fees you will pay. Number one is that you will pay what we call youth development money. That is after you have paid for the land, though. You will pay the youth. Anytime you want to start work, if it is foundation, you will pay Omonile. Anytime you want to start, let's say, decking, you will pay Omonile. When it's time for you to roof, you will pay Omonile. Now, when you calculate the costs, of what it will take for you to pay, there was a scenario of an investor who bought property, even from a real estate developer, and she didn't buy from me, because if she had bought, I know that region to be one of the most troublesome areas. I would have advised, that she go elsewhere, because I've witnessed some of these things, and I can categorically tell you that some of those experiences are not pleasant experiences. So that is a case and issue for another day. But the most important thing is that these are some of the fees. Now, failure to pay these fees is why we have attacks on sites, why we have vandalization of your building materials, why we have thefts of some of those things. And it's very annoying because many people don't know what they get themselves involved with if they're dealing directly with Omonile. For some of us, that we've had these experiences, we are in the best position to tell you what you should try and what you should ignore. So these are some of those things. So you will now find out that the development fee, the documentation fee that the developer is asking you to pay is child's play compared to what you will pay Omonile when disputes erupt on the property they have sold. You know, the funny thing is that they will be the one to sell to you, okay, and you will still be the one to pay them more. And there have been instances whereby if they perceive, you know, that transaction to be a beneficial one, at certain times whereby they will keep coming, demanding and demanding. And that's why sometimes you find out that after some people have made some purchase of land in some places, they station security personnel just to safeguard and of course wade away all these unnecessary expenses. So buying land from Omonile is stressful. I need to say this. It's stressful, and if you don't know your way around, okay, um, you keep paying unnecessary fees, which obviously is painful and can be avoided. So this is that. So if it is a, if you have bought property in Akodo, just like this question rightly said, you definitely want to find out if you have bought from the right family. Then two, if there are insistent cases of Omonile coming to the land disrupting, then you want to find out who the head of the family that you need to approach. And when we have cases of insistent attacks, one thing is clear: they want money. And sometimes too, whenever I am making instances of this, I'm not saying things because that's what they wanted me to say. I'm saying this because this is what I've experienced, and trust me, the experience has been stressful. Stressful. And today I have close contact with some police officers. How do I get to know them? On Monile. When we have to do it. So the scenario is very, very stressful, and this is why these entire processes of due diligence are very, very crucial, very, very important, and you want to pay attention to these as you buy, whether you're buying from a developer. Now, Omonile attacking you is not also dependent, okay, on, or maybe because you bought from a developer or you bought from them directly. You know, that's why sometimes I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you must buy real estate, the reputation of the development company you are buying from takes a lot. If you are going to have peaceful coexistence, okay, on the property you have bought, is dependent on the developer you are dealing with. Now, there are some real estate developers that I can say it online that I've not seen how fetish or how powerful or how influential the Omonile is. They don't dare near them. Because these real estate developers, to them too, have their right. You know, anything you are doing in Lagos, Nigeria, in as much as fact I don't like to admit this, but that is just the truth. Connection matters, and that is why it is very important you buy from a developer that is well connected. And that's why sometimes I've argued several times, okay, that you should not make decisions based solely on price. You want to check the strengths, the connection, and of course the power of that real estate developers. So there are some developers that we have been having, you know, business transactions with. We've bought properties, we've recommended people to buy from them, and this is the 5th, 6th years. They've never been a case of Omonile disturbance. So kudos to them. So we have some real estate development company like that in Lagos, and they don't have issues like this. And that is why sometimes I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again: watch before you leap, okay? Buy only from a reputable developer that can manage the situation, because if it is Lagos, the situation is very, very normal, and of course it happens almost all the time. Okay, did I just say normal? Well, to an extent, it most times appears to be normal, but that's just the reality of what is going on. So that is it. Okay, so these are the 3 essential types of due diligence every real estate investors must do if they're investing in Lagos. And these are some of the things. In case you are joining us this live broadcast, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I've been here since 6 o'clock. We started way below schedule. So I'm also using this opportunity to announce that on Tuesdays and Thursday I'll be coming live, okay, to take questions of some real estate investors, and we'll be addressing some important issues, okay, that concerns property purchase, property acquisitions, property allocations, issues, that is related to real estate investment in Lagos, Nigeria. So I'll be coming online, to address some of these things, and then we'll be able to, do justice to some of those questions. So first of all, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that joined this live broadcast. I don't take these, for granted. I appreciate your time. This is where I'm going to draw to this curtain. I want my live broadcast to be as short so that people can go. So on Thursday, by God's grace, as from 3 p.m. on Thursday, we are going to be here, and we're also going to continue. And I'm also going to talk about relevant issues that is concerning property development. Thank you very much, Madam Julia. Thank you for joining us. For those who have also joined us that I cannot see your name on this platform, thank you very much. I appreciate. God bless you. Let us do this again. Of course, we also have some of our recorded videos. Trust me, you're going to learn a lot from our live videos. Thank you. See you on Thursday for another exciting episode of Property Matters live broadcast. Bye for now.